Butter
people
dog.
call
Butter
me.
dog? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
They call me.
Whoa, I gotta find out. Wow, in the hell did you get the nickname Butter Dog?
Dog with a butter.
I'm
So there's
curious.
this
I want
TikTok
to
that.
hear the
Yeah, there's this TikTok that was
talk
going
to.
around. He said it's butter dog, the dog with the butter, and it's literally just a video of a dog with a square of butter on its forehead. And then
Oh,
people are like,
God.
"You're yellow, like butter, so we're calling you the butter dog."
Hello, welcome to Metaverse
Okay,
Degen.
awesome.
I'm Lion.
I'm Old Man Raptor and got one hell of a guest today, and that is.
Hi, I'm Scout the Goldie, but you can call me Goldie.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Scout, for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on. So thank you for your time.
It's nice meeting you, Goldie.
Oh my gosh, it's such a pleasure to be here. I'm so excited.
Oh, so what is it you're most known for, and how'd you get started with everything? What got you into VRchat and into your craft?
All right, so me, I am most known for our open mic series that we host every Wednesday. Um, Going back with that, that came about back whenever I started singing in VRchat, which was back in January of this year. So with that, I met a lot of other musicians and performers in VRchat, and kind of what inspired me to do that was seeing these other open mic communities, and I was like, that's really cool. We don't have enough of these, so why don't I just throw one in there? So we picked a day. Like, we'll see how this goes. And the way it worked out was, our first one, it was pretty nice. We had a good bit of people come in and like, okay, let's keep rolling with this. And we kept rolling with it, and now we host possibly one of the biggest open mics in VRchat every Wednesday night.
Oh, wow.
It's been a very fun journey. It's definitely not as big as like Midnight Munchies or the other communities that do stuff like that. Corbell's group, they do open mic twice a week now. Actually, they do it on Thursdays and Sundays. Shout out to Corbell, big inspo. But yeah, it's been definitely a very interesting journey doing all of this and finding more things that we can do to give back to the community that does so much for us. So that's also been one of our biggest inspirations, is just wanting to provide something for people to have their own voice in the community.
So when you first started this and you wanted to have another open mic community here, what were you anticipating it would be like when you first started, and versus what you actually experienced over time?
Honestly, when I first started this, I expected it just to kind of be like a crazy mess. By no means did I expect it to launch off like it did. Me, myself, hosting the first open mic, I could barely talk on the stage. I was like, oh, hello, welcome to open mic. I'm like, here, I'm going to pass the mic over to my co-host because I don't know what I'm doing, right? I'm like, I don't know what to say. It was my first time. I'm like, up next we have So I was like, oh, this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be a mess. And then I sat down and talked to somebody one night, and like, dude, you gotta go out there. You just have to, like, people care, but like they don't really care what you sound like on stage. As long as you like know what you're saying, like, don't be afraid to like throw your voice out there. Don't be afraid to say the first thing that comes to mind. That's what I do, and that's how I keep going off on all these tangents, and I will never end.
Fair. Well, I've seen recently, at least from heard some people, how inspirational and big your festivals and your open mics are. Like, for example, we're in your festival world now that just finished, I believe.
Yes, we closed out Sunday night. Well, technically Monday morning at like 2 a.m., but yeah, Sunday night was the ending of it, which is very sad. Everybody goes through like their post-event depression because, leading up to it, it's such a big build-up and excitement, and then by the time you're there, it just goes by so quickly. Like, opening to closing, it's just like, did it even happen?
Wow. So how did this event and ones like it start? Where was the inspiration for this Enchanted in the world, and what got all this started?
So for Enchanted, we honestly started planning this back in March. We picked a theme. We wanted a theme that would kind of be extremely versatile, which, something mystical and fantasy, it can go a lot of ways.
Hmm.
And you can build on it, for like a next year, the year after. You can add extra elements to it. You can, like, small teaser for next year. Like next year, we're doing Enchanted Age of Witchcraft. So we'll build on that, add more of a magic element to it, add some new features. We'll probably expand this event world a little bit, add a larger marketplace. Let me not go off on a tangent about that. Let me not do any spoiler alerts. But no, we started planning this back in March. It has been a very long, stressful planning period. Just trying to coordinate with so many people, building up a strong enough staff team to where we could support this event. But honestly, it was great getting to collaborate with so many people, so many communities, meeting so many new friends that wanted to come in and, help us with this and teach us some things so that we could, do this when we were ready. And that's, it was probably back in May when we finally picked the dates that we were comfortable with getting ready to launch this event.
Okay. So how much work went into creating and building this event when you first started planning it?
Are we talking about building the event or building the event space?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. So if we're talking about the event world,
oh geez, Ryan. Yes.
So if we're talking about the actual space, all that credit can go to DJ Red Panda. He also had some assistance, which we can give a lot of thanks to these three people. Glitch the Fox, which Glitch.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Glitch. Glitch is everywhere. Glitch works with a lot of event communities. He's just an overall spectacular person. Lotus, they're another really cool event world creator. They do great work. And Llama Hat, who is from Club Sonar. He does their world building and stuff like that. But all in all, it took like 3 weeks to put this together. I was very amazed with the speed and everything that went into putting this together and how nicely it came together.
Oh wow.
Honestly, very impressed. We had people coming in like, "Oh, can we buy this from y'all?" And we're like, "No, I'm sorry, we're not gonna sell it. We're just gonna keep using it and improve it each year." But eventually, with our event worlds, we do want to kind of have like a Patreon or something, or if we can get accepted for the VRchat creator economy, have it to where people, if they want to subscribe to like having access to use these worlds that we create for their own events and, being able to use the same tools that we have.
Okay. So for the event itself, what kind of work did it take to collaborate to get all these things going?
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of it's just collaborating with the performers, getting to know them. It's been really nice, this year getting to work with and meet so many new musicians and DJs and, allowing, we kind of go back and forth with like an application process as well as just, messaging directly like, hey, we really like your music. We want to work with you more, kind of help you get your stuff out there. So we want to bring people in, help them get more exposed in the events community because there were a lot of people that performed here this weekend that have never been on a stage before.
Really?
And it's nice being able to give them somewhere that they can go where people can hear them. But going off more into the collaborative work that goes into stuff like this, a lot of it is just more so networking, meeting people from other communities that you show them, like we show them what we're doing and they're like, oh, we like really like that, we like what you're doing, why don't we connect, and they're like, we want to promote what you're doing, and that's where the marketplace comes from. We're like, these are our partnered communities, they're showing people what we're doing, so we want to give back and show them what they're doing, giving them a place to talk back to our community and kind of show them what they do as well.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you another series of questions a little bit about the event. What kinds of things did you have available that happened during the event? Was it all just stage performances? Did you have other specific things going on?
So the majority of it was stage performances. There was a small section of the event on day one where we had Furry Springs. They're our very first partner with all of this. They've been the biggest supporters in everything that we do. They've always been there to advise, assist, whatever we really need. We host our open mic in the cavern at Furry Springs. So we had them come in and talk. They talked a little bit about what they do, who they are, what they provide, and then after that, we kind of went around the whole marketplace booth village thing. I don't know. I'm gonna call it a marketplace because that's kind of what it is. But kind of walked by each booth on stream and just talked to people about what this group is about, what they do, how awesome and amazing they are. We also had on day 2, the traveling circus came by, did a full-on immersive experience with avatar shaders, and it was amazing. The whole world was just covered in particles and props and just like colored changing things, and it was really cool. Like this whole thing was covered in a dome that like had swirls and optical illusions, and it was really, 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 really cool.
Oh, okay. Well, so I'm gonna ask you a question about more of your beginnings in VRChat now. Just kind of curious a little bit. What was your first events in VRChat that inspired you to do all of this?
So it was probably at this point I had been in VR for like a year. I didn't even know there was really an events community. But even before then, I knew that I wanted to do music and VR and work with, like-minded people. I guess my introduction to that was the Furry Springs New Year's Eve event, which was amazing. I met a lot of great people from there. Actually met one of my best friends there, who is also the co-founder of, the group that we run these events with, Pierce Barkwood. If you're watching this, you're really stinky, and
Speechless.
yeah,
He's literally speechless on that last line. I like that. That
I'm
was pretty
speechless.
interesting.
No, Pierce has been great. He has helped me so much, and our main mission is just building something, amazing. But yeah, going back to the New Year's Eve event, that was the first one I'd ever experienced. It was great seeing so many artists come together to put something together for the community to help, everybody celebrate the New Year's. And like, oh, that's freaking cool. But
Oh, wow. So how long have you been visiting these kinds of events? Was it this New Year's or ones from years prior?
it was this past New Year's Eve.
Ah,
And since then I've been to almost as many as I can go to. Honestly, I've been to a lot. There's so many new communities coming in, also doing the same things, and I'm trying my best to support all of them. I want to go and watch and see how they're working, and if they ask, I advise them the best that I can, because they're as of recent, we've had a lot of communities reaching out to us, and they're like, hey, can you help us do this, or is there anything that you could recommend for us to do this better? And I'm trying to do the best I can to help everybody, but can't go to every event.
fair enough. So you guys are fairly new at this in terms of for events and such. What has been this last year like for you, as well as like this past event for Enchanted? Was it what you anticipated everything to be like?
Honestly, if you asked me a year ago if I would be doing this today, I would probably have no idea what this was. Because honestly, we launched all of this back in January of this year, so I don't really have anything to go based off of last year.
Ah, so what kinds of things have you learned or memories you've made while running Goldie Lounge, may I ask?
I guess one of the main things I've learned is public speaking. Public speaking can be pretty challenging at times. I even still find myself kind of struggling to find the right words to say, or having to repeat myself until I can think of the next thing that I want to say. Also, another thing that the most valuable lesson, the most valuable lesson that all of this has taught me is collaboration. Which that, I know I keep going back to collaboration and wanting to, work with other communities and, just, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I've said too much. I've said too much. You know what? That's it. Goodbye.
You're doing perfectly fine. Give yourself a lot more credit. You did an event in front of a lot of people. It's not something the average person will want to do. So give yourself more credit and have a bit more confidence in yourself.
No, thank you.
So what kinds of things have you done since you started Goldie Lounge? Like, how many events have you run? Was there anything memorable that happened during those times?
So this is our third event that we've done that's been like a big event. The first one we did was Cupid's Loverfest. That was our like Valentine's themed event back in February. It was the first thing we ever did. I was extremely nervous. Don't go watch it again because you're gonna see me at intermission being a complete fool and hesitating on every single thing I said. But honestly, I don't even think I was on intermission that often. We just kept rolling. We were running. We were like, go, go, go. I was like, you know what? I'll get the next intermission. And then by the time the next intermission comes, I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll get the next one. And I'm like, oh, who wants to come on and talk about the charity? Not me, because I'm really shy. Event number 2 of this year, I was starting to get more comfortable with what we're doing. I was getting more at ease. I had built up enough staff. We partnered with another group, Wolfie's Hangout. We put our 2 staff teams together. We're like, we're gonna do this. It's gonna be really cool. This is a collaborative event. We're gonna bring people in. It was really awesome, super fun event. It was right after VRelium, so people still had that event energy going in them. With that post-con depression, like, oh, let's go to this. Maybe it'll help. And that's what happened. And we're like, we're glad that we can provide this after VRelium. Oddly enough, this wasn't planned. Our themes ended up kind of matching a little bit. Ecosphere was kind of taking place on a planet that was like a canyon, very dry. So I was like, uh-oh. But we went with it because people already had all the assets. People had the avatars, people had everything already set up, ready to go. So we're like, okay, let's just give them another event to use all this stuff at. Because, at VRelium, people had their watches that you could see like the screens on of what was going on. So we made it to where people could still see what was going on at ours on their little screens. And it actually worked out really cool. But yeah.
Oh, okay. So since you've run all 3 of these, how has how you've been running your events changed based on what you learn? What kind of things you pick up from each lesson?
Well, a lot of things have changed. I have learned that it is okay to delegate tasks because I can't do everything by myself. That is very hard. But I have a team that loves what we're doing and they have the same goals that align with mine and the whole group. And, everybody is motivated enough to, share the same mission. And I'm going off on a tangent again. Let me go back to the beginning.
First of all, please don't apologize for
delegation.
going on tangents. Raptor and I enjoy them. It's how we learn things. So if you want to go off, talk about
that's
things.
Perfect. Then I'm just not gonna. I ain't gonna shut up. You ain't gonna stop me. No, going back to the beginning of that delegation. If you want something to work, you have got to build a team that is going to back you up on what you want to do. Like for us, we have me. I'm like the founder, the showrunner. I run the stage. I do the interviews. I do the speaking. I scout out new talents. I do our networking and stuff like that, which we have a networking team also. They help assist with all of that. We have Noah. He's our director of operations. He makes sure that the performers are getting on stage. He counts them down. He makes sure people are where they need to be at those times, at all times. We have Pierce. He's the co-founder. He's also our stream manager. So everything you see on screen is run by him, as well as a couple other people that we've just brought in recently that are also going to be working on the stream with him. Oh, I'm out of breath. We also have, I'm just gonna name all of the team lead. I'm gonna name them all. We have Elia Kaliua. He's our creative director. I work with him whenever I need some type of brainstorming when it comes to creative ideas, creative thinking. He also is our resident composer. So if you go back and watch Enchanted, the music you hear during intermission, he composed and created himself. It's a very beautiful song. It'll be released on Spotify and iTunes and all that very shortly, so you can listen to it again because it's a really, really good song. Then we have Bert Satan. He's one of our administrative leads. I could also put him under the creative director category just because he's always there whenever I need somebody to talk to about a lot of ideas, going back and forth. I mean, back when we first met, we would be up until 4, 5, 6 in the morning just consistently talking for hours and hours about future ideas and stuff that we want to do. Power, she's our head of security. She makes sure that every single person on the security team is where they need to be and doing what they need to do, which I could not be more grateful for our security team. This whole event ran without a single situation that could have been seen. I didn't know if anything happened. Nobody out here knew if anything happened. I checked the logs. Things did happen, but nobody knew about it because they caught it immediately as it happened. We had people stationed here, there, at the door, everywhere. So everything was run pretty seamlessly when it comes to security.
Oh. So from running these events, all 3 big events, plus all the little ones, what kinds of things about the music community did you find out or stuck with you after running it, from seeing it from the other side of the event?
Honestly, what I have found out is that there are a lot of people in this music community when it comes to like VRchat and like the furry music community that they're just now starting out. Like there's a lot of people that need guidance. There's a lot of people that don't really know what they're doing or where to start. So one of the things that we like to do is we provide, kind of a service in a way to give back to, people that come and perform on our stages and stuff. So they need posters made, they need logos made, They're like, I always tell them, like, just hit us up, we'll get you some stuff made. If you need help setting up your stream, we'll help you set it up. Voice meter, which voice meter is kind of difficult to set up. After the first time you've done it, you kind of get it. You know what buttons to press, you know where to go. But that first time using it is extremely difficult, so we like to assist with that. So pretty much anything that you could think of in terms of learning how to perform and be a musician in VR. We try our best to assist in teaching all these newer musicians and what to do. One thing I've also learned working with this community is everybody is so eager to work together. It's not something you find in the real world. Nobody's like just like jumping at opportunities to be friends and work together. Everybody's kind of in their own little worlds, kind of just brushing dust off their shoulders and going for their day jobs and just going home. But on here it's a lot different. I think the sense of community has really been brought back when it comes to VRchat.
Okay. So you mentioned something that you do your own streams as well. So are you a content creator also?
So the only streams that we do is like when we stream these events. I did do Twitch for a little bit. Life got really busy. Eventually I want to jump back into it. People kind of liked what I was doing, and I didn't really get that far with it, but people did enjoy watching it, at least I think. But I would like to eventually get back into content creation. I've just recently made a TikTok, so I'm trying that out. I don't really know what I'm doing, but it's going good. I posted my 3rd TikTok this week, and it got like 1,200 likes, so that's cool.
Well, congratulations. So what were what actually, I don't know if you answered this or not, but what got you here in VRchat to begin with?
Oh, let me tell you, because that's actually a really funny story. Honestly, I could not tell you these YouTubers' names. Um, it's the guys that wore the toothbrush avatars, and they just did nothing but fuck around for hours. I was like, that looks really funny. That looks like it's a really fun game. It looks really funny. People just going around doing a bunch of nonsense.
Hmm.
So, Christmas comes around. I'm like telling my family, I'm like, hey, you know what I want for Christmas? A quest. and then, I'm like, I was like, that's. So I got it. It was the only thing I asked for. Was the one thing I got. I'm very grateful, very happy. First thing I did that night was I downloaded VRchat, as just like hundreds of thousands of other people did that same exact night, because we all asked for the same thing. We all know we did. I'm not the only one. But
Oh.
and then I I just remember my first week. I did not talk to a single person. I just sat there at the furry hideout by myself in a mirror, just watching people, seeing how people congregated. And then eventually, after a week, I'm like, okay, like it's now or never. If we don't go and just walk up to these people, start talking, we're not going to get anywhere. So I pushed myself. And yeah, that's how I got into VRchat.
Wow.
Ryan, I got a question for him. I got my famous
Sure.
question I ask most people. What was the first thing you saw when you were in VR that made you run? Going, this is not for me. I'm out of here. The weirdest
I don't think
thing you ever seen.
I don't think I've had that moment yet.
Ooh, he's up
To
for a
be
good one
honest.
here, folks. He's gonna be up for a shaker, I can tell you, if he hasn't seen something off the wall yet.
Hey, look, I'm on year 2 right now. I've seen some weird stuff, but nothing that's gonna push me away.
Well, you must be very fortunate not to have seen the weird things, because that's a question you've been asking quite a long time, and we've heard some interesting stories.
Well, I think a lot of it. I think a lot of it is probably accounting to that. When I first started in VRchat, I kept a pretty small circle. Kept to myself and our small group of friends. It was like 10 people. It was all I hung out with for about a whole year. And then it wasn't until the beginning of this year that I started, reaching out more, making more friends, and actually wanting to, become a community member.
So, what was that like driving moment that made you want to go from being the community member to leading a community? What in
That is actually a really good question. I'm gonna have to give me like 2 seconds to think about that. I guess a lot of it could be people pushing me to do that. There were a lot of people that kind of liked the ideas I had, and they're like, you need to do something to make those ideas happen. And I'm like, okay. So there was one day, I never planned on getting VRchat Plus until one day, it was actually Christmas last year. Somebody said, here's VRchat Plus for 1 month. And I'm like, okay, cool. I can make a group now. So I was like, I was just goofing around. I'm like, let me make a group. I was like, oh, let me think of a group name. It took me like 2 seconds. I was like, Goldie Lounge. Let's do it. Let's go. We're running with it. And, for that whole month, I had like 10 people in there. I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. Yeah. And things really didn't start launching until I met Pierce, and we kind of started collaborating on some ideas, and we hosted our very, very first event, which I can't really call an event, because all we did was say, hey, we're going to this nightclub, and we're going to stream some DJs that I found on YouTube. Everybody come and have a party. That was our very first event. I was like, let's just have a party. Because I love a party. Partying is really fun. It's fun getting to talk to friends, dance, have some drinks, kind of just not worry about what's happening outside. So, yeah.
So that first event, though, you just kind of started a party. Was there anything about that event that made you want to do the next event?
I think what happened during that event was, hold on, I'm trying not to burp.
Well, at least you didn't do it live. You're going, oh, wow, it was pretty good there. Whatever went down, come back up. Hope it tastes good the second time around.
I think what really kind of kickstarted us wanting to get more into live events was on that same night as our first event, one of our friends, Gunnan, who is now known as DJ Gunnan, wanted to test out his new DJing skills, which he's gotten amazing since that first night. It's been incredible seeing where he's gone. But I think that's what sparked that first idea. You know, it sparked the very first idea of wanting to do bigger things, actually bring in some live performers into the group and start doing things outside of just game nights and small parties, stuff like that.
So when was the moment you started stepping up what you were doing to like bringing in live performers and having a bit more grandiose events? What was that first event like?
So that first event would be Cupid's Lover Fest. I brought in one of my older friends, Monster, who you start working with somebody new, there's always going to be some type of conflict, which, we worked through it. It was fine. That first event was a very rough start for all of us, really. But I got to meet a lot of new musicians. And then I got to meet a lot of people that I hadn't met before through this event. And I think that is really where I think that's where things started setting in, like, hey, this is really cool, I like doing this. I like being able to help put on these shows, and eventually, I was like, okay, I want to,
It's okay, bud. You're doing perfect. Okay. So what were some of the
big yellow dog, like big event. Big yellow dog, put on big event.
Big yellow dog. Oh my God. I hope it ain't Old Yeller. You know what happens after the end of that show. We don't want that.
Oh no, I'm not Old Yeller. I'm just Big Yeller.
Big Yeller. Oh, okay.
Some people call me the Butter Dog.
Butter Dog? Whoa.
They call me...
Whoa, I gotta find out. How in the hell did you get the nickname Butter Dog?
Dog with a butter.
I'm curious. I want to hear that.
Yeah, there's this TikTok that was going around. He said it's Butter Dog, the dog with the butter. And it's literally just a video of a dog with a square of butter on its forehead. And then people are like, you're yellow, like butter, so we're calling you the Butter Dog.
Yeah, oh my God. Oh, that answered my question. Open mouth, insert foot. There you go. Nothing new.
Okay. So where do you intend to taking your community now that you've got a few events under your belt and some experience and some staff? Where do you wish to take your community?
Welcome to your worst nightmare.
We've been watching,
and we know what's scared.
This Halloween.
The isn't
Just
noise. It's your
Darkest fear.
kill if you dare.
I think one of our goals is eventually when we want to go beyond the music festival scene
Hmm.
and do more community outreach and host events that are more community based.
Hmm.
I'm not saying we want to get rid of doing the music festivals, but we want to be able to go beyond that. Eventually, we want to make it to where we can include both of them together and have these larger events that don't just promote musicians, but they also promote other communities. Because, our main mission is giving everybody a voice, giving everybody a stage. We want people to be heard.
So did you start this whole event off with that mission, or is it something you developed over time?
So, when we were first planning this event, it was just going to be a music festival. Until a couple months ago, we're working with these communities. We're all helping each other out, doing things together, brainstorming together. So we kind of just, because even at our event Ecosphere, when you spawn in, we had these billboards and posters everywhere. From musicians, communities, avatar creators, other world builders. We're like, if you have a poster, you have an ad, if you have anything and you want it to be showcased here, go ahead and send them to us. And we just filled up that area with billboards and posters, and it was like walking into one big pop-up ad. We did it at a more elegant pace this time though, with the booths. We invited members from these groups to come and talk at their booths as well. I saw a lot of people from other communities, and that's something that we really enjoy, is seeing people from other communities coming into our community, being able to share with each other, talk about what we're all doing and where we want to go and what we want to do.
Okay. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you, were there any communities you've learned about while doing these events, Mask? Ones you didn't know about or ones that interested you?
So recently, we did take part in PJKT Fest. I met a lot of new friends there, a lot of community founders. And I think that would be the main event that actually has inspired a lot of what we want to do. I think it's really beautiful and nice what PJKT is doing, bringing so many people together. They're doing the same thing, giving these people a space to showcase what they've done over the past year. And I think that was the main event where I met, a lot of the people that we know today and get to work with.
Oh, wow. So what was your experience at PJKT like, and what about it stuck with you?
So my experience at PJKT was a lot of things. Not only did I get to go speak at my booth, there's that burp I was trying not to get out earlier. We did.
Love it.
Excuse me,
Love
I'm
it.
so
Wicked
sorry.
timing.
I'm just gonna
Hey,
go because I'm so sorry.
No, don't be. If at least you got it out, in the middle of somewhere, it could be in a lot worse places. Think about it. At least you didn't, go out the other end. Think about it.
But yeah, going back to PJKT, not only did I get to speak at my booth, but I met people that I didn't even, I was already friends with them. I didn't know they had these communities that they were taking part in, that they worked with, that they've created. So, what kind of ended up happening was we all kind of just formed this close circle of going back and forth to each other's booths to talk and hang out. We had some musicians come in actually to the NFFC booth, the No Friends Club. They actually have a booth over there. Over there by the little house. It's been great getting to know everybody on their team. I myself went and sang at their booth. They were inviting people to come by and sing and talk about their groups. It was amazing. It was super fun. But yeah, I think a lot of it was just getting to know so many great people. That was the main highlight of that event.
Oh, wow. So did you ever attend any event like that before, or was this year your first festival of any sort?
That was my first fest.
Oh,
So let me tell you, everything this year is my first everything.
ah. Well, welcome to this side of VRchat, and welcome to PJKT
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Fest.
thank you.
Hopefully, see you next year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
you will. So I've actually just recently joined PJKT on the community relations team. So I look
Hey,
forward to working with them on so many things. It's going to be so much fun.
same here. I'm also on the community relations team.
Ah!
Hey, let's go.
Yo, oh, wait, hold on, I missed. Oh.
Oh, really shitty.
Oh,
Oh wow! Look at these
God.
two. They can't even fucking hit bump hands or fists
There we
or
go.
whatever you want to call it. There you go. They got it going. Coordination is coordination, folks. All you have to do is get it right together.
I'm totally,
Remember that.
I'm totally really good at first-person shooters and don't miss a lot.
Oh my god. Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay.
So,
What are you talking about? I'm lost. Thank you for coming again. We're going to have a shooter game after this episode, and everybody's going to die. Okay.
so if you this was your first year's fest, so you went from like your first festival to staffing at your first fest. What led to that? Because that seems quite the jump for being a part of the PJKT team from that going.
So, what happened is I really enjoyed PJKT Fest. I loved what was happening, what the whole team was doing. So I just messaged Chris one day and I was like, you know what, I have these ideas. I'm like, I want to bring some stuff in for PJKT. I want to help build some newer things. So that's the plan. We do want to bring in some newer things to Fest next year. And we're working with Chris on some of that. It's going to be very fun. Very optimistic that it goes well. It involves music. I can't say too much because I don't know if I'm allowed to say too much because nothing's been confirmed. And Chris, please do not get me in trouble.
We'll stop asking the details, but you don't have to share like what you're doing. Just what has the experience been like for you that made you want to reach out to Chris in the first place? What about that event made you want to go from I really like and want to emulate this to I want to help out?
I think the main thing was just because, coming from, what we do, I love just being able to collaborate. And I saw that as a community that also loves being able to collaborate. So I really just wanted to be able to take part in it and get to work with a lot of like-minded people.
Okay. So with that said, how from some of the events and things you've attended this year, like Fest and stuff, is there anything you wish to incorporate into your own events and stuff, or anything you've learned from attending all these events this year?
Things that I want to incorporate into my own.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to cut this part out. I have to think.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. Take your time.
I think eventually we want to be able to add more interaction with what's happening on stage. Because now a lot of time you go to these events and the audience doesn't get to really interact much with what's happening and who's speaking on stage and all that. I think what would be really interesting to do, and this is kind of just an idea that I've been dabbling back and forth with, is when we have these speakers on stage, everything's run through Discord for the audio, for who's speaking, and I would like to make it to where, that audio could be run through a private channel on Discord, but audience members could join like a waiting room. And if, you want to ask the audience questions, you can kind of pull them in and to that channel and be able to actually speak to them face to face during the event and on stage.
Oh, wow.
So that's one of the main things I want to do is bring in more audience engagement, because what tends to happen is that these people are coming to these events and, they're having a great time just watching and listening, but, we never really get to interact with the event.
Okay. So were there any moments that made you, during a recent event with Enchanted, that made you think of that idea?
Yes. So we were actually during the closing ceremony on Sunday, we were giving out some special thanks to some of the community members that were out in the audience. And I think one of the main things I wanted was an easier way to let them on stage to kind of talk about their experience with the group and the community, and why they're so committed to being able to be involved in what we do and being able to watch from the sidelines. And that's the thing, I want to take the audience off the sidelines. I want them to be in what we're doing.
Oh, that seems like quite the wholesome thing for you to want to do, incorporate the audience. Do you think by the next big event you run, will you try and have something like that?
I think it's quite possible. I mean, it's a very easy idea to implement. Everybody knows how to use Discord. Everybody knows how to move somebody from one voice channel to another. So it's honestly like 2 steps of making this work. So I think we could easily make it happen.
Okay. So now, were there any audience interactions or group community interactions that have stuck with you while running all of these events and collaborations?
Oh,
Very nice.
I'm so sorry. I'm just.
I give that about a 5
Yeah.
on the Richter scale. No problem. You're working up. You'll get to it then.
Okay, I had a lot of lemonade today. I'm so sorry. There's a reason I'm yellow.
Oh my God.
What was the question one more time? I think I just kind of reset my brain.
Since all of this has started, and with everything you've showed us, were there any community interactions that have stuck with you? People who are part of your own community, anything they've said, or any interactions you've had with them or staff?
I think the most difficult thing for me, not in a bad way, by all means, is just, and this is like one of the most touching things for me, and it makes me very emotional when I hear this from people, and there's a lot of people that come up to me and they're like, you've been such an inspiration to me, and you have provided, like, you and your team have provided such a safe space for us to be in, and we're glad that I think being looked up to is something very new for me, and it's very touching to have a community that looks up to me in such a way that
Sorry, take your time. It's a very wholesome thing. You're doing amazing things.
Okay. Oh, the honest truth is, all of this is new to me. Being a leader, being a community name, being, not just somebody that's running community, but also being a friend to as many people as I can in this community. And it's just been the best thing, is being able to connect with so many people and knowing that they have somebody that they can look up to and be inspired by. I never thought that I would be that person for so many people, but the more people tell me that I inspire them to do so many things, it's been one of the most heart-touching things about this whole experience, and been one of the greatest.
Aw. Well, I'm glad you've been able to have that kind of experience within your first year, and I do generally wish you the best and be able to continue more. From what I've seen of your whole event so far and your community, everyone's been nothing but amazing, and the event is beautiful. So
Thank you. Sorry, I'm like,
oh, it's okay. I'm sorry to make you cry. I feel bad.
oh no, it's not your fault.
Fine, you dick. Quit making the fucking the host, the person we're interviewing crying. Gee whiz. Now you ain't got to give him cookies and milk. God, you got to be nice.
It's not on purpose.
I know you're not doing it on purpose. Oh, yeah, we do that with every guest we have on here. We just try to make them cry because we got nothing better to do. My God, no. My God, no.
Well, I'm very happy you're able to have those experiences, and hopefully, actually, I do have a question for you as well. How has running this event and community with the Goldie Lounge, how has that changed your view of VR, especially since you're so new into it?
You know, there's some good and bad to it. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that we become so dependent on VR to kind of escape, what's happening outside of VR, that it almost becomes kind of like an addiction. Which, you know, it's not a bad thing that, we're all like trying to make and live our lives in VR, but I feel like I'm kind of going away from the question now. I don't know.
You don't know? You haven't
Can
kind
we, what was the question one more
Well,
time?
how has running Goldie Lounge and running events and a community changed your view of VR, if it has at all?
Um, you know, yes, let me restart my whole answer. The way that I see VR now is there is a chance to make history with this game and other VR platforms as well. What we're all doing here is very new. There's room for error, there's room for improvement. Things could be a lot better here in VRchat. There could be a lot of things different. But by no means is it bad. I think what's happening here is great. I think, getting to make experiences for people has also added to that. Being able to be one of the people that's helping build the VRchat with the community is also kind of helping push that, but I would say it's been pretty great. It's improved the VR experience a lot for me, as well as a lot of other people. One of my staff members the other day was talking to us and saying, they never thought that they would be involved working with a community like ours, and that they're just so grateful that we continue to show them that there are still new experiences that can be had in VRchat and new things that can be found. So I think a lot of it's just been pretty great learning how to make new experiences for people.
Well, I will say, I'm sure you'll find a lot more new things about VRchat running a community and events. I'll tell you, being in part of Metaverse Degen, I get the new player experience so often now, and I've been in here for years, and it's very frequently I'm surprised by the things people are doing. So I hope you have the very similar experience to running Goldie Lounge.
Actually, a very new experience that I thought was really cool.
Oh.
So you've actually just recently interviewed this person, Mountain Man. He runs all the jukeboxes. So during the event, I was actually joking with him. I was like, "Hey, what if you just ran this event through your jukeboxes?" And he's like, "Bet, I'll do it." So this was something new that we tried. This event was running for the majority of both days through 11 jukeboxes throughout the entirety of VRchat in the Black Cat and Furry Hideout. And people were listening to it. They had no idea what it was, obviously, but they were hearing people's music come through outside of this event in other VRchat worlds, which I think was an amazing thing. It was super cool, but it allows, for more of a bandwidth of a voice for the event.
Oh, wow. What did you ever end up getting feedback from any of the people who were listening through the jukeboxes?
I've actually not heard anything back from anybody, but I'm sure people heard, and they were very confused and were like, "What the hell is this?"
Fair.
They're like, "Who is this buttered up dog talking about the ALS Association and all these musicians?" Well, I'll tell you, it's me, Scoutthegoldie, up here on stage talking about events and stuff.
Oh, well, so this year, how many new experiences were you able to have exploring this side of VRchat? What kind of things did you go see since the New Year's?
Well, there's been a lot of experiences. I think one of the main things that I've actually started doing a lot more is, aside from hosting these events, I'm also a performer myself. So I get to work with other communities and perform on their stages as, instead of being the host, I get to, be on the other side of it as well and actually be a performer on stage, and um, gives me more of a chance to connect with an audience too after a performance instead of having to run around and do all these things. Um,
Ooh.
so that's been a pretty good experience that I've had this year. That's new for me as being a performer. So that's always fun. I think a lot of newer things that I'm starting to experience, which I know have been around for a while, but getting more involved in the club scene on VRchat, getting to meet newer DJs, club owners, seeing what they're doing, getting to know what they have planned for the future. And then don't even get me started on those fireworks at VRelium, Borbell's events, and stuff like that, because Starport 55 is amazing, and I think you should definitely talk to them if you haven't already.
Glitch has been saying I have to get Starport on as well. You're not the first person to say Starport should be on. We'll get him on the list. We'll get him on. Oh, so what was your experience with Starport's fireworks? Because I remember when, by the time this airs, you would have seen a Glitch interview. Glitch mentioned a virality fireworks that Starport did that stuck with him. Was it yours this first time as Glitch's, or?
Yes, I will tell you that was my first time seeing Starport's work. I watched it about 15 times, and I bawled my eyes out every single time because it was such a moving piece of art with the music going on and just all the effects that happened during it, and just knowing what it symbolized with the event. It was definitely something that is going to stick with everybody for a long time.
Well, I very much appreciate you sharing all your stories. We have 2 last questions for you before we start wrapping all this up. First is, where'd you get your name from, and why do you continue to use it?
Let me tell you where I got my name from, because it's really funny. It's actually not so much funny, but more stupid. I went to Google and I said, what are the top 20 dog names for a golden retriever? So I went down that list and I was like, oh, Scout? I love that name. So I was like, Scoutthegoldie, and I was like, it's just kind of stuck.
Oh, and the avatar. Oh, that's an interesting way of getting a nickname or a VRchat screen name. The avatar you use.
But however,
sorry.
nobody. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm so sorry.
No. I apologize.
However, no, I apologize.
Oh my
Not many
God,
people call
here
me
we
Scout
go.
anymore, though. Oh, you hush.
Canadian polite fight. Let's go.
Oh boy.
Speaking of Starport just invited me. That's crazy. But no, nobody really calls me Scout anymore, though. Everybody's just like, Goldie. Hi, Goldie. Everyone just calls me Goldie because Goldielounge, Scoutthegoldie. I feel like I'm the spokesperson for golden retrievers now.
You very well may end up being the spokesperson for golden retrievers here in VRchat.
Well, there's not that many of us. I've met one.
Really? Only one other?
Only one other golden retriever. There's not that many. Even on Bark, there's 43 on this app, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh. Well, final question. The avatar you use, what makes you use it and continue to use it? Is there anything that it means to you that you keep on using the same one?
So I think the main thing is this avatar wasn't created and designed by just me. It was actually made by me and like 2 other people. So Scout 1.0 was a bit of a mess, honestly. That was designed off of a ref sheet that I created. It was very plain. So I went to one of my friends who does avatar texture work and stuff like that. And I was like, I want something new using these colors. I have these ideas. Like I really, really love stars and glitter and shiny things. So we kind of just worked over the course of a week on call, going back and forth with designs and stuff and ideas that we had. So we came out with Scout 2.0. It was amazing. It was one of my favorite things ever. That design is now kind of, it's in the past now. This is Scout 3.0. Scout 3.0. This is the final release of Scout. It has definitely been the only avatar that I've ever actually felt like me in. It's the only thing I've ever actually like worn in VRchat that feels good, and I actually feel like I fit.
Wow.
So I've just stuck with it, and I love it.
Well, congratulations on having an avatar you feel home in.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Well, with that said, where can the audience find you if they wish to find you or the Goldie Lounge?
Well, you can find me at the Goldie Lounge VRelium, which is well, let me go off topic a little bit. VRelium is the subordinate part of Goldie Lounge that runs the music festivals and larger events. Goldie Lounge is the part of the group that just runs like open mic and karaoke events to kind of show how our group is laid out. It's in two separate parts. But you can find us with VRchat group code Goldie.8220. Just go and search on your little group search thing, and then you can hit group, and then you can join the Discord through there. And you can find me if you ever want to reach out to me. I have an open inbox. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, or if you just want to talk about events, or you just need somebody to talk to, or hell, give me some feedback. I want to know what we're doing wrong. I want to know what we can improve on. I want to know what you've seen that you've liked and that you've disliked. I want to know what's something new that you want to see. So feel free to chat with me. You can chat with my team. Honestly, just do whatever you want to do with that Discord. It's super fun in there.
Well, thank you very much, Goldie, for giving us your time and getting a chance to learn all about you and your community. It's been an absolute honor hearing all about you, so thank you.
Yes.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. It's been such an honor being here and getting to talk to you.
Well, thank you. And before we close it off for Mr. Raptor here and have him do the thing, last time we talked with a glitch, we gave you homework. Did you do your homework? Did you go do a new experience? If so, tell us about it. If not, go do it. Go find something new. Tell us about it. With that said, see you in the
I've
Metaverse.
never done homework.
Oh. You've never done homework.
Never done homework. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Well, Mr. Raptor, you know the thing.
Gotcha. No matter what, folks, like I always say, if you can't do your homework in here, make sure you don't blame it on the fucking dog, because the dog ate your homework. But if you get beyond the homework of the dog and trying to get it away from him, have a good time in here. You'll see a lot, you'll meet a lot, and have a lot of fun. But don't blame it on the fucking dog, and don't blame it on me. We'll talk to you later. Bye.